Williams has been a sleeping giant for quite some time now. While a declining reputation over the course of the 2010s has left people seeing them as nothing more than a backmarker team, it wasn't always like this. With championships, all-time greats, and over a century of race winner trophies lining the halls of the once great race team. So why then, after more than a decade without a race win, a 9th place finish in the Constructors and a 1st place in the Destructors this year, by quite some margin I might add, is it that Williams are on the brink of a resurgence back to the front of the field? And more pressingly, just who could they be replacing in the pack at the front? Want to know why 2025 is serving as the last time that we see Williams at the back of the pack? It's not just us that think this, so what are the factors that has gotten us so excited? And stick around, because in all senses of the saying, it could turn out that Red Bull's loss will be Williams' gain. So, what's all this hubbub around Williams about then? Well, it comes down to 3 major factors, from deep-rooted change to the personnel heading the team, and it all points towards one goal: be competitive come 2026. First of all, the back-of-house infrastructure overhaul that has taken place since Dorilton Capital bought out the Grove Racing team back in 2020 has steadily been improving the team year upon year, under the leadership of James Vowles. While this hasn't necessarily been visible in regards to championship standings, partially thanks to the team never having more than one competent driver, but we'll get back onto that later, but the changes behind the scenes have steadied out the freefall that Williams were experiencing and have now built a steady platform for the team to exponentially grow from. The thing that hamstrung the team massively last year was the sheer amount of crashes, rendering the team incapable of fielding both cars and upgrading them consistently. Each crash set the team back massively, whether down to lost upgrade R&D, damaged parts, or lack of backup parts due to subsequent crashes, and because of that, Williams were never able to actually demonstrate the progress that had been made at a factory level. However, despite the compromised 2024, the team may actually benefit from the increased wind tunnel time that they have been afforded this year, which can be used in the build-up to the 2026 regulations. As of the start of this year, teams can start developing towards the 26 regulations, and the team have made it clear that they're more than willing to forego their chances in 2025 in order to benefit their 2026 entry. In an interview with Autosport, James Vowles stated that if they're seen moving backwards in this coming season, then they're moving in the right direction. As he said, "It's the message that Alex and Carlos both know. 2025 will be a struggle, I think. It's not that you're going to see us moving forwards, we're going to move back a little bit. And if we are, I'm okay with that, because it simply says I'm investing at the right rate for 26 compared to those around me. That's what we should be expecting from it. We are going to compromise 25. That doesn't mean we'll be 10th, but it's going to be a hard year." However, just because they're set for a tricky 2025, that may once again be somewhat of a false sign as to how they will be performing come 2026, just as their Destructors title standing last year has made their progress hard to measure. While Vowles acknowledges that there will likely be slip-ups in 2026 too, all signs point towards the foundations to be reliable enough to recover quickly. The second substantial reason the Williams could be at a distinct advantage over their fellow backmarker cohort is their use of, and more importantly, continued relationship with Mercedes engines. Clearly, Mercedes aren't guaranteed to repeat their miraculous 2014 engine leap forward. However, the current murmurings around the world of Formula 1 points towards the Mercedes engine for 2026 currently being the best in class once again. While there is still a full year of development left before the engines are put to the test for all to see, it's hard not to see Mercedes being all that far from the front, as even if Ferrari or Honda manage to make an engine that's just as quick, it's reliability that wins championships. If Mercedes get the engine right once again, then Williams will be one of the main beneficiaries alongside McLaren, who have proven just how possible it is to challenge at the front of the field after a similar timeline of infrastructure building to what Williams is currently undertaking, as let's not forget where McLaren were just over 5 years ago. So why is the pre-existing nature of Williams' relationship with Mercedes so important, you may be wondering? Well, Alpine have finally come to the conclusion that Renault engines are the problem, shock horror, and will be using Mercedes engines too. Aston Martin is starting up their relationship with Honda in 2026, Audi will be using their brand new engines, and Red Bull and their sister team will be using Red Bull powertrains in their first formal entry in partnership with Ford. The key theme throughout all of these? They're all entering either their first year and providing their own engines, or they're entering new partnerships, both of which can and will cause major teething issues during the first year of the new regulations. By having a prior working relationship with their engine provider, one of only 2 teams to be doing so alongside McLaren could prove to be a pivotal advantage over the rest of the field in regards to how the teams start in the new regulations, which could shape the field for the coming years post-2026. Realistically speaking, outside of the experienced OEMs and McLaren, Williams are at a distinct advantage. And that brings me to the last advantage that will take Williams up the field, and that is that they now have 2 drivers that can actually keep the car out of the barriers. Now, don't get me wrong, both Sainz and Albon have had their fair share of crashes over the years, but neither come anywhere close to Latifi, Sargent, or even Colapinto when you consider his race-to-crash ratio in his short stint. The driver we want to particularly focus on isn't the incumbent Albon, who is certainly a capable driver and a deeply embedded and important part of the Williams operation, but the injection of star power that Carlos Sainz brings to the team. The now ex-Ferrari driver deserves to be in a top 4 team minimum, there is no question about that, and the fact that no team at the front snatched him up for various reasons is one of the best things that could have possibly happened to Williams. Sainz has a track record of improving a team's standings in the Constructors' Championship, as every team is better off when he leaves than when he joined. His experience, intelligence, and overall quality as a member of the team, not just a good driver, will prove to be pivotal in regards to how the team moves forwards. And don't just take it from us, this is what old teammate Charles Leclerc had to say about the Spaniard. I think Lando Norris and myself are probably the 2 best people to speak about it because we've been sharing the same team with Carlos for many years, and I can tell you, Carlos is so incredibly talented. He's helped me to improve in so many areas. His work ethic, his talent, just everything he brings, the discipline he has, he's been just such an incredible teammate. And I think if today we have done such a step forward in a year and in these 4 years, it's a big thanks to Carlos. I'm sure that it's just a matter of time before he comes back and joins us to fight for wins. He will give so much to Williams, the way he's so sensitive to every small change and every small feeling there is in a car. James Vowles recently spoke about his driver pairing and lauded the fact that both drivers are 100% invested in the progress of the team, and that neither will allow individual politics to take precedence over that. The drivers have the perfect balance of being driven to improve the team, but Sainz in particular is lightning quick and has a proven track record of benefiting the teams that he joins. But all of this gain will have to come at the cost of other teams' positions in the championship, so just how far could this go? Assuming that the midfield battle against the likes of Aston Martin and Alpine goes well, the one team at greatest risk of falling from the front of the field as they battle not only to adjust for the new aero regulations, but provide themselves and another team with an engine for the first time, is Red Bull. Now, before your jaw hits your desk, I don't think this is as crazy as you may believe it to be. As we said, their first year in bringing their own engine will be painful enough, but they aren't being permitted the additional R&D afforded to bona fide new entrants due to the fact that their engine program isn't actually being seen as a new entity. They have a reduced development capacity due to their prior relationship and seeming adaptation from Honda, something which will immediately impact their chances compared to the actually experienced engine providers around them. They will be fighting with their intentionally Verstappen-leaning tactics, assuming he is still around, unlike the balanced approach between the 2 drivers that we are going to see at Williams. And beyond all else, Williams isn't trying to tear itself apart from within at any given opportunity. But what do you think? Are we crazy for believing that Williams race wins are possible in the new regulations? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching.